Hello there. So my name is Derailious. Welcome back to the Hypixel Skyblock Mega Guide. Today we are back for episode 2, in which we'll be going over quite a few things of varying degrees of importance: minions, collections, player stats, as well as a few items in the merchant shops, and how to get to the bottom of the deep caverns and the items contained within. I want to thank everyone for the support on the first episode. It really means the world to me. Once again, not many of you are subscribed. Only about 6% of people watching this video are subbed, so if you can hit that button down below, it means the world to me. As well, you can check me out on Twitch and Twitter if you want, and avoid looking at the burning tree in the background. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So last episode, I kind of avoided talking about the merchant shops, and I honestly feel like that was a pretty large mistake on my end. A lot of these merchant shops over here are pretty useful and have some items that could be used for very early game players. Notably, the promising pickaxe here is a solid choice for an early game pickaxe. As well, you could pick up other items which will become useful later, notably this gold and this iron. The armor smith here is also pretty useful. He has diamond armor with growth 1, really solid for before lapis armor and before minor armor, which I will get into later. And the weaponsmith, which has a sword that I assume you should all pick up, the undead sword. It deals plus 100% damage to zombies, withers, zombie pigmen, and skeletons, including pretty much everything in the deep caverns. So, I didn't actually bring up what the blacksmith does in the last video. Basically, if you go up to him for the first time, he'll charge you about 10 coal for your first reforge. What reforges basically are is, after the first one, you can pay a certain number of coins to get a reforge on your swords, or armor, or weaponry, or anything of that nature, as well as talismans. These reforges give you buffs on your weapons. I'm not going to specifically go into which ones are the best, but just know that there are different ones that are the best for different types of weaponry and talismans. Itchy is a very common one, so is Epic for swords. Fabled is a late game one that you can choose eventually. And basically all of these boost your stats in one way or another. So the blacksmith is definitely an important place that you're going to be visiting relatively often. As well, I wanted to make the note that there is something that I forgot to mention in the last video as well that I think I should bring up before we continue, and it's that if you do /visit PortalHub in chat, you can visit this island, and it has reached the maximum amount of players right now, so we're going to have to wait till we can get in. But if you do /visit PortalHub, you're able to go to this guy's island. PortalHub is a YouTuber. He has 33,000 subs. He's pretty cool. And how this works is each one of the portals to all the different islands are on his island. There's multiple other accounts that have islands set up like this that you can easily fast travel through. The deep caverns is right here, so let's head over there now. To continue, I wanted to make the note that although you could use the huge, big, winding path down to the bottom of the deep caverns, there's a faster way. So I'm going to lose some money doing this, but I think it's going to end up being worth it. If I come down here and I jump, and I hug this wall and hug to the left, I would have unlocked the Obsidian Sanctuary, which is the bottommost location. As well, this works for pretty much all the locations going down. This can allow you to skip through the areas and get to the bottom as fast as possible. Now you might be asking, why would I want to go to the very bottom of the deep caverns? And well, the important part of it is minor armor. On the bottom of the deep caverns, these guys here, these zombies with enchanted armor, can drop minor armor. It is super useful. If you look at my chest piece, it has protection 5, which grants me 15 defense. It has 20 base defense, and it says each piece of this armor dramatically increases your defense bonus while inside of a mine. This greatly allows you to survive encounters, and once you get your fairy souls in the next episode, which I recommend you check out, after this, you'll be able to easily destroy the mobs here. It'll be an absolute, like destruction of these guys. It would be ridiculous. So, yeah, once again, you could just run around these Obsidian Sanctuary. You can mine up some diamonds. You can mine up some obsidian if you want. There's nothing really holding you back past this point. So, yeah. And now on to the next part of this episode, and probably the meatiest part. So right over here, on my island, I have a little guy, and he is a wheat minion. Now, basically how minions work, and this is the very simple definition, is that a minion produces resources for you while you're online and while you're offline. So to start, this is the minion interface. These are the important slots. These are the item slots. This is the upgrade button, in which if you have enough wheat to upgrade the minion, you can press it and it will directly upgrade your minion. Obviously I don't, so it won't work. This torch up here is the ideal layout, which will show you the items required around the minion in order for it to work. This is all where the items are produced. The next tier button will show you the items that you need to upgrade the minion next, so this requires wheat to get a wheat minion 3. The top left slot that is green is the minion skin slot. This is for cosmetic skins unlocked by players who are VIP or higher. Fuel is on this level. Fuel allows you to increase the speed of your minion by adding multiple items that are fuel. One of the most important ones, and one of the earliest game ones, is coal. So coal will increase my minion's speed. As you can see, it was about 15 seconds before, and now it is 14.25 seconds between actions. As well below that, you'll have your max storage and your total number of resources gathered right below. Automated shipping allows you to put in a budget hopper, enchanted hopper, or perfect hopper to make your minion automatically sell generated items. The perfect, budget, and enchanted hoppers are all in the iron collection, if I recall correctly. And then you have upgrade slots. This is where you can put multiple items to upgrade your minion, notably compactors, which will allow you to turn an item into their condensed forms, so from redstone to redstone blocks, and from hay to hay, or from wheat to wheat bales, or hay bales rather. And super compactor 3000s, which will do the same thing, except for the condensed version, it will then become an enchanted version. So from redstone to enchanted redstone dust, and then enchanted redstone blocks, and from seeds to enchanted seeds, for instance. The minions that I recommend players get the earliest are probably going to be skeleton or zombie minions for the items in their collections, which as you can see, we have a skeleton minion down here. Redstone minions, because they allow you to unlock the accessory bag, which I will go into in a minute. Clay minions, which can be accessed pretty early on if you use the bazaar and have someone craft for you. And trust me, you are going to need people to craft stuff for you. It's good to have friends in Skyblock. And cobblestone minions, so you can easily unlock the recipes for the compactors, which will come later. Once you have all those unlocked, you sort of put them on your island and have them go at it. You start out with 5 slots, although you gain more slots for each minion you craft, basically. So each unique minion you craft, so every level of every minion, you get another point towards the next slot. You can have up to 25 base slots plus 5 if you're using the community center. I won't really go into how that works yet, but just know that's something on the horizon for you. Keep crafting minions, 100%. Even if it's not something I listed here, even if you're collecting something dumb like, I don't know, mutton, or seeds, or eggs, make the minions. Make them. They are super useful. In order to craft the minions, all you have to do is take the item that it would be using. So we're going to make a cobblestone minion. So it would be a common pickaxe, a wooden pickaxe. And then you just put the cobblestone around it. And that makes a cobblestone minion. You just take the resource on the outside and the tool used to get it on the inside. And that's usually how it works. If any of them confuse you, you can just look into your collection and your crafted minions. And then you can see how to craft it here. And this works for all the ones you've already unlocked. For ones you haven't, you can check the wiki. The wiki is a great resource. Next up on our big list of things to talk about is probably going to be accessories. As you can see, I have an accessory bag, which you should already know comes from the Redstone collection. Collections can be accessed right next to your skills, and they are basically things that you get from unlocking certain resources, or getting a certain number of resources. As you can see, I'm on Redstone 3, which means I have between 750 and 1500 redstone collected. I'm at 1387. At 1500, I get the enchanted redstone recipe. At 250, you get the small accessory bag. I recommend you get this as soon as possible. The accessory bag, how it works, for example, is it starts in the bottom right of your Skyblock menu. You can click on it, and you can store your talismans in there. You can get talismans in many different ways. You get some of them from the dark auction, which I will talk about in a future video. Some of them can be bought from merchants. Others drop from mobs. Others still can be crafted, and even more come from slayers. But to start off, you're going to want to get your first few talismans from the adventurer, which is right over here in the little marketplace, right next to the bazaar. Speak to him. As you can see, he has multiple talismans. I recommend you pick all of those up if you have the currency to do so. They are very useful. These talismans boost your stats in one way or another, allow you to survive things you otherwise couldn't, and can be used in the little blacksmith station to be upgraded. As you can see, I have a bizarre reforge on my skeleton talisman and a godly reforge on my zombie talisman. and this works for all rarities and all levels of talisman. The final stop on our list of things to talk about is probably going to be skills and stats, notably. Skills and stats I like to use interchangeably, but just to make the base note, skills are really the items you get from leveling up your specific, XP level things, so farming, mining, combat, foraging, etc. And these are important. Notably, combat is probably the most important. I didn't really go too deep on this in the last video, but I want to make more note of it now. At level 5 of combat, you get access to the Blazing Fortress, as well as the wardrobe system in the Skyblock menu. The wardrobe system is super cool. This is really, really interesting. What you can do is you can put armor inside your wardrobe, and when you click on it, you can directly swap to that piece of armor. So if I want to store, say, my diamond set, I have it all here. I can swap to it whenever I want, and it immediately applies it to my my person. So it works out great for that. Next up on that list is that you get access to the Blazing Fortress, which I will show off in a future video. And level 12, you get access to the End, which honestly should be your main goal. Leveling up combat is super important. I recommend you get some minions to level up that skill. By the way, I want to make the note that minions do give you XP levels for these skills. So make sure to level those bad boys up. And finally on our list of things to talk about, let's talk about the stats. Stats in Skyblock can be found in the top middle of your screen. Click on it. You have health, which is very basic. It gets increased through armor, talismans, as well as fairy souls, which I will go into in the very next video. Defense, which can be increased through armor, talismans, as well as fairy souls, which once again I will show you in the next video. Getting this up as high as possible is important because the more defense you have, the more effective health you have, which means you can tank for longer. Getting around 700 to 800 defense is an end game goal. Strength, which in my opinion is the only all or nothing skill. If you want to get a high damage stat, you can do it one of two ways. You can either level up your crit damage and crit chance as high as they can possibly go, so 100% crit chance and like 500% crit damage, or you can keep crit damage at around 150% and instead go for 900 strength. Going for 900 strength is absolutely ridiculous and is super tough. However, it can actually pay off and might be more damage compared to a crit damage build. So I recommend you look into this. However, for strength, right now, you probably shouldn't worry about it because it only works if you have a large amount of it already. Speed is speed. I'm not really going to go into this, but you can increase it using some types of armor, notably Speedster set, and some other sets later on, like Young Dragon armor. Crit chance is crit chance. I'm not going to go too deep into this. You get 0.5% per combat level you're at. Crit damage is the percentage damage bonus you deal when landing a critical hit. Once again, very simple. Bonus attack speed decreases the time between hits on your opponent. For people who do PvP, this could be very useful. If you have a high CPS, you're going to do an insane amount of damage. Intelligence increases both your mana pool and the damage of your magical items. Once again, self-explanatory. Getting this very high is really cool because if you have 500, you have 500% bonus magic damage. Sea creature chance is your chance to catch sea creatures while fishing. Obviously, I'm not going to go too deep into this. Get this high if you want to fish. Magic find increases how many rare items you find. This one's interesting. Getting this high is actually really important. Having a plus 100% magic find allows you to find a lot more things in the wild than you'd expect. Things like minor armor and ender armor for later game players. And for the very late game, I guess the most important item that you can get with magic find are the Slayer items and the Phoenix pet. And finally, we have pet luck. Pet luck is just pet luck. There's not much special about it. It increases the amount of pets you find and gives you better luck when crafting them. I'd get this up if you want to get into the pet endgame, but I'll go into that in a few episodes when we unlock the bee pet. So yeah, chat, that's basically it. So yeah, fellas, that's really it for today. I went into a lot of stat crunching and talking about how a lot of stuff works, but I feel like something like this type of episode is needed every once in a while in order for you to understand the game better. Once again, my name is Derailious. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did, subscribe down below, and I hope you all have an awesome day. See you guys in the next one.